Hey guys, William here with Patriot Containers. You know, there's a topic that I have not brought up yet, and I'm surprised. So, if you're stumbling across my channel, the videos that I provide are things that you probably have never thought about buying a container, things that you probably didn't know that horrible companies can get away with. And I expose those, and I expose these types of companies because I stand for doing with what's right for customers. My business was started because I used to work for bad companies, and I hated it so much I started a business to tell people the truth and do the right thing. I've watched this cargo container industry get worse and worse and worse, and I'm amazed at the things that you guys are being told that are flat out lies to take your money, to make you feel secure, and then you're totally screwed and you can't do anything about it. So my videos, and I'm the only one on YouTube doing this, if you're a subscriber and you're watching these videos, thank you. If you're new to my channel and you're finding my information useful, subscriptions are great. I don't think you should watch more than 2, 3, 4 videos, because I do ramble on and say the same thing over and over, because I always study these companies and I'm always exposing how these companies are actually ruining the industry that I have a business in. And so, one thing I've never talked about is container rentals. I don't rent containers. I'm going to admit that in the beginning. I sell containers. I have a cost, I have a profit, and I have a delivery price. And I sell containers, you own them. And I'm done. As long as I've done everything right, I'm done. I've made a profit. And in 11 years of owning Patriot Containers, I don't have a single complaint from anybody that ever bought a container from me. So my philosophy is if you tell somebody the truth, you deliver a good used one or a good new one, and you show up on the right day, you've done everything right. And that's what keeps customers calling back without complaints, and they want to reorder containers. I've been doing that for 11 years, and that's why I have no complaints. I want to talk about container rentals. Over the years, I've heard amazing stories where I'm never surprised with what you're being told, or I'm never surprised with what happened to you. So, a reoccurring story I could tell you about container rentals is I've been renting a container for 2 to 5 years. I want to buy it from the company, and the company's charging me $8,000 when you've technically already bought the container. Another one is I've rented a container for so long and I'm wasting my money. I want it off my property, but they won't come and pick it up, and they keep charging me money every month. You got to understand, some of these crappy companies that promise a container in 7 to 10 days that you're buying, they take 1 to 3 months to deliver. So on these same companies that rent containers, they're not on top of the back end business. They want you to make a monthly payment forever, and they don't want to pick up your container. Is that the case all the time? No, but it does happen sometimes. So this video is about why I think renting a container can be a bad idea. And that being said, let's say you have a $2,000 container and you need it. And let's say it's a $2,000 container. They're going to rent it to you for $150 a month, okay? Well, you're going to have an initial down payment. Most likely that down payment is going to be the delivery price and the first month delivery rental price, or whatever the salesperson commission that they made to get that to sell that container, that rental to you. And I don't know the ins and outs of their employees' agreements on how they pay their employees for closing rentals. But this is basic math. If the container only costs $2,000 and you've rented it for, let's say, 10 months times 150, 10 times 150, you've paid 1,500, but that delivery price that got the container there, let's say it could be anywhere from $500 to $1,500. Let's just say it's 500. So now you in 10 months of renting a container, you've already bought the container for $2,000. The kicker though is when they have to come back and get the container. So at some point in time, you're probably signing an agreement and you're stuck in it, and they're not going to lose a penny on you. You're going to pay for the commissions, you're going to pay for the delivery, you're going to pay for the delivery money. So if you've already rented it and now you're like, hey, I'm done, I don't want this container anymore, I've used it, it's served its purpose, I need you to come back and get it. A, they're going to leave it there and continue charging you a monthly rental fee. B, when they come and get it, you're going to be hit with basically like a balloon pickup cost, and it's going to piss you off. So let's just say the delivery is $500. Well, now you've paid $2,500 for a container that actually costs $2,000. So my basic math here is, a lot of people call me and they go, hey, I want to rent a container. And I go, look, how long do you plan on using it for? They're like, oh, only a few months. Well, if it's like 1 or 2 months, it might make sense. But if it's longer than like 6 months or a year, you're better off just buying the container and having it delivered. And I always tell people this all the time. I've had so many people call me and they go, hey, I'm only going to keep this container for 1 or 2 years, and then I'd like to resell it back. And I will buy it back, but I'm going to have to factor in my pickup price. I'm going to have to factor in my profit. And then I'm going to have to factor in a reasonable amount that doesn't piss you off, but I'm not losing money. I have to resell it and make money again. So, but normally I offer more money to buy the containers back than most companies that slap you in the face. I try to be fair. So that being said is, let's say so part of my YouTube channel is seeing avenues of information that you might not have seen in the beginning. So if you plan on renting, oh, by the way, I want to finish with what I was saying. I've had people that say they only want to keep their container for a few years. And then I tell them, look, if you buy a used one, you'll have an easier detachment from your container, and then you could resell it for top dollar in your location, and you can call me and I'll tell you with what it's worth so you can resell it and recoup your money. But if you buy a new one, you're going to fall in love with the container so much that most likely you're not going to resell it. I've had people literally tell me that they plan on reselling this container at some point in time, and they buy a new one, and I ask them, I say, hey, you going to resell that container? And the answer is no. On the delivery day, they're like, no, we're going to keep this thing forever. So it depends with what you really want. You can fall in love with good containers and just go, hey, look, I like this thing so much, I never want to get rid of it. It's always going to have a use. And if I can't find a use, I'm going to put it somewhere else and I'll make a use for it. That's how much people like new containers. But if you're going to keep the container for a specific amount of time, you're better off buying the container, having it delivered, then you own the container. And you, like I just said earlier, you can resell it and recoup most of your money. Sometimes you can break even and you didn't pay anything for the container at all. You'd be surprised before COVID, I used to sell 40 footers for about $2,000 that were in good condition used ones, not bad condition, good condition. The price of containers went so high that I called my customers and offered 100% of what they paid for the container, because that would be a better deal for me buying the container back than with what my current purchase price was in 2021 and 2022. I had customers actually telling me, we used your container for like 5 years and we sold it. We bought it for $2,000 and we sold it for $5,000. I'm like, holy, and that happened more than once. It wasn't just one time. A lot of people did that. So yes, can cargo containers become investments? Yes. But I think a lot of people that think they're going to rent a container and keep costs down, you'd be surprised on how much you're actually probably spending more and you're getting stuck into another trap. And these companies won't come pick it up. They're going to keep charging you money. Or when you finally paid for the container in full and you're like, hey, I want to keep this thing. And they go, well, it's $8,000. Well, you can buy it for 1,500. Why are they quoting you 8,000? Um, and then yeah, a lot of people call me and they're like, "Hey, we've been renting a container for like 5 years, and we want out of it, and we want to buy one." That's been happening. Those type of conversations have gone on since when I used to work for bad companies. I would hear that, and it still happens to this day. People have been renting containers for so long that they've already paid for it 3 times, and once they've already paid for it, the company will not work with them and say, "Hey, you can keep it for this amount of money." They just hit them high and go, okay, you don't want it, we're going to come back and get it and then charge you a bunch of money. So always look at the numbers. You can buy a container for cheaper than renting one and then resell it and probably recoup a significant, if not all, of your money. So you got the rental, or you basically rented the container for free. So, anyways, thinking outside of the box here, guys. Always, if you want to call me, you can. My phone number is 888-611-5698. I'm always here to give you honest, true advice, even if you don't buy a container from me. I don't possess magic powers for you to buy something, but if my help is welcome, I'm literally here for you. I actually want to help people, but there are some people that do not want help at all. I can't help you if you're that type of person. So, anyways, guys, have a good one. Thinking outside of the box. Have a great one. Goodbye.